I want to use a martial arts analogy, or actually a comparison of various martial arts, to understand the justification for U.S. alt-right, whatever alt-right people were serious, justification of the alt-right embracing what I call communism with U.S. features. How we can understand this, what is fascism? People that actually understand who Benito Mussolini was understand that Benito Mussolini was a socialist and I would say a communist that was highly respected by Vladimir Lenin, that because Vladimir Lenin grasped that he understood things that other people did not. But Mussolini was a communist that basically created fascism, created third positionism. He created it. Okay? Now, why did Mussolini create third positionism? I would highly recommend people read the doctrine of fascism and understand these things. But Mussolini was no fool. Mussolini understood that the transition period mentioned by Karl Marx in the Communist Manifesto, where the government has all power of all the means of production, that they would never give it back to the people. So if you look at Fascist Italy did not have all power in the government, as is popularly misunderstood. It was the government had some power, the corporations had some power, and the people retained power under the workers' unions. And if you read the works of Sir Oswald Mosley, you'd see that he had a similar plan for Great Britain of what a fascist government would look like in Great Britain. Essentially, what fascism is communism that actually works. The problem with Marxism, or Marxist communism, or democratic socialism, or any of this nonsense, is that, and another thing that people don't understand about Mussolini actually did not even believe in race. Okay, he believed race was a social construct. That should show you how much of an actual communist he was before creating fascism. And that stuck through into fascism. That's why there were Ethiopian fascists in Italy and things like that. He accepted people. If they were loyal to the state, they were a fascist. If you get what I'm saying, there was no racial continuity in fascism. But going beyond that, essentially, fascism is communism that actually works. It's communism that breaks from the Marxist philosophical pipe dream. Fascism, so communism begets fascism, begets National Socialism, begets justicialism. I personally believe justicialism is apex third positionism. I think that is the last great incarnation of third positionism. Okay? Which is heavily influenced by progressivism. Okay, so how am I going to use this martial arts analogy? Well, the problem is, I'm assuming, probably wrongly, that many of my viewers are familiar with martial arts. Essentially, what was wrong with Karl Marx was the fact that he was a philosopher. He was an idiot philosopher. Philosophers are idiots. Anybody that actually reads philosophy understands that the majority of philosophers, they're great at thinking, they're horrible at doing. Mussolini was a doer, Karl Marx was a thinker. Vladimir Lenin was a doer, Karl Marx was a thinker. Joseph Stalin was a doer, Karl Marx was a thinker. And it's not to say that Stalin or Lenin or Mussolini were not also thinkers, or to say that, the certain chancellor from Germany was not a thinker as well as a doer, or to say that Juan Perón was not a thinker and only a doer. But if you're thinking and not doing, there's a big difference. So let's come to the martial art of Akijutsu. Akijutsu is a form of unarmed sword fighting. Well, there is a sword in it, but what do I mean by unarmed sword fighting? It's how to fight somebody with a sword without a sword. And it's called Akijutsu. Akijutsu begot two martial arts. And I'm going to leave links to these so people can compare them in the description. Akijutsu begot Hapkido, and it begot Akito. Akito was founded by a guy named Yoshiba. It was founded as a hippie martial art that was meant to not harm people, and it's greatly, greatly ineffective as a self-defense system. So if you compare Akito to Hapkido, you will notice that there's a big difference in the application of Hapkido and how well Hapkido works at disabling and destroying the attacker, okay? Because Hapkido is a martial art of doing, whereas Akito is a philosophical martial art. This happens if you compare Akito to any true self-defense system. Now, Hapkido is not the only system, but I'm using Hapkido as a comparison to Akito because they come from the same parent art. But you could compare Akito, and I'll leave links so that you could compare Akito to Karate-do, and you will see that Karate-do is a legitimate system of self-defense. It works. When somebody implements the techniques of Karate-do, they will disable or destroy their attacker. Okay? That is what a martial art is for. Okay? There are philosophical aspects to this that help the martial artist to mesh with society, but ultimately the goal of a martial art is self-protection, whereas in Akito it is self-perfection. Now, compare Akito and Hapkido to the Marine Corps martial arts, which I will leave a link to that. It's called line fighting. And the reason I'm doing this is I have familiarity with all of these martial arts. I have taken in some form each one of these martial arts. So, in fact, in the form of karate I know is actually a blend of Hapkido, Tang Soo Do, which is Korean karate, and Marine, the system of combat that the Marines learn. That's the form of karate I take. It's American Tang Soo Do, is, for lack of a better term, it's American Tang Soo Do. But it is a blend of Tang Soo Do, Hapkido, and the system of fighting taught to the Marines, and that is what I learned. We called it karate, okay, or Tang Soo Do, but it is technically American Tang Soo Do. Similar, but not exactly the same as the American Tang Soo Do created by Chuck Norris. That goes out to the guy saying, I'm trying to channel Chuck Norris. I ain't trying to channel anything, buddy. So my point is you see, as the martial arts get more effective, they become less and less and less and less and less and less philosophical. The Marine Corps combat system has virtually no philosophy behind it. The goal is to annihilate the attacker. That's it. There's no hippie nonsense, no thinking about this, no thinking about that. However, in karate, in Tang Soo Do, in these traditional martial arts, we have a lot of philosophy. And a lot of people don't understand this. In karate, when you block and attack, anybody that's done kata or hyung or anything like that understands that, or even just the floor techniques, it's always a block and an attack, a block and an attack. This goes back to Okinawa, because in Okinawa, karate, it was very clear that karate was self-defense, not offense. Self-defense, not offense, okay? When you start looking into the Marine Corps combat system, there's not many blocks, but there are a hell of a lot of counterattacks, okay? So you have to look at it that way. It's a counterattack. The idea of aggression is forged into the philosophy that is there. The philosophy is survival. Now, my point is, and I'm not promoting violence of any kind before people start saying I'm promoting violence. I'm using this as an example of the fact that fascism is communism that works. It's communism that delivers on the promises of communism. But it is called fascism. Fascism no longer works. Because despite the fact that fascism, Italian fascism, killed virtually nobody really, especially compared to Leninism and Stalinism and things of that nature, and Trotskyism, most likely, for whatever reason, fascism is seen as the end-all, be-all, horrible, most bad system of governance ever, although it delivered what communism promised. Okay, without the bloodshed. Now, if you look at Maoism or Stalinism or Trotskyism or any of these, there's a lot of innocent death. There wasn't a lot of innocent death under Benito Mussolini. Okay, but there was under Mao, and there was under Stalin, and there was under Lenin. In fact, that's how, if you read the book by the Chancellor of Germany, that's why he stated that the Germans could never be allied with the communists because they were blood-splashed criminals. However, in this day and age, the word fascism, or third positionism, or National Socialism, or justicialism even, can easily be associated with the zeitgeist, this terrible, horrible, abominable mirage of evil. So what you do, communism is glorified now. Remember that. So what you do is you take the values of U.S. progressivism and the values and the delivery and the what was delivered with U.S. progressivism and Mussolini communism, not fascism, because remember, fascism is communism that delivers without the bloodshed. So you take fascism and you take what's called third positionism, and you simply call it communism with U.S. features, and it becomes a cohesive form of U.S. progressivism.